तिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकाया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करार्भवैः तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Hare Krishna. So we've been commanded to speak a little in a general talk. It might be a little informal in places. In fact, I might start with talking blissfully about how I came to spiritual life. We were fortunate to be born in a very loving family. My mother and father raised me well, even though I became a total offender and made millions of offences, and humbly beg forgiveness, mercy, pushti. We are on the pushti marg, the path of mercy, which is the function of the Lord and his devotees. He's very merciful and ashutosh, easily pleased, which is an important point to remember. Shiva is ashutosh, very merciful form. Shiva Tattva is very intensely complex and blissful to understand. Bliss, as our beloved Maharaj would say. And we beg the mercy of Lord Jagannath, Daru Brahma, and we want to give mercy as well, because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed that become Guru and deliver this land. He didn't want us to remain disciples forevermore. He wanted us to rise in Bhakti and Shakti, Bhakti Shakti. And we've been very fortunate in our life, very lucky, extremely lucky, and for that I'm grateful. And there's a little aphorism that goes, an attitude of gratitude is the key to great freedom, which I believe quite wholeheartedly. If we're grateful, then we appreciate our lives, we appreciate other people, we appreciate our surroundings, and we become patient. Our patience becomes like a mountain, and we're able to tolerate anything that Krishna throws at us. We seem to believe in equality when reality is Advaita. But in the verse Anya Bilashta Shunyam Jnana Kamari Anavritam Anukulyena Krishna Nushilanam Bhakti Uttama, we're instructed that our bhakti should not be Jnanamishra Bhakti, should not be tinged with Jnana. Nevertheless, Jnana is transcendental. There's mundane vidya, knowledge, and avidya. But gyan is something slightly different. Still, the supremacy of bhakti is heralded in the works of many acharyas in many different sampradayas. But we should be careful to find an authentic sampradaya, which comes from our desire, our samskaras from our different lives, which accumulate over time, because time is there's kala, which is one of the Shakti tattvas, 5 Shakti tattvas: time, space, material, knowledge, passion, and power. And time is considered by many to be mundane. You have a watch and it ticks, tick, 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 and we try and measure it in an analog fashion, but really it's not a very good way of describing it, I suppose, but it's digital or quantum. So it's not measured in a linear fashion, which is unbroken. It's measured in chunks of time. So we're devoting a little time to speaking, trying to develop some bhakti samskaras, serving others via the internet. This is the only way I know how at the moment, and we all act according to our capacity, and we shouldn't beat ourselves up too much about how we're serving, as long as we're having this service mentality, that if we are as humble as a blade of grass and as tolerant as a tree, then we can advance. But what is the meaning of advancement? The meaning of advanced means means not, and dvance is etymologically related to the word dvandva, which means duality, of which there is none. So we can find peace in Shantaras and try slowly to understand the overlapping of transcendental mellows. There's 5 primary rasas: Shantaras, Dasya, Rati, Sakya ras, Vatsalya ras, and Madhurya ras. There's many other rasas, flavors, tastes, but these 5 are spoken about more often. Shantaras means peaceful state of mind. Dasya means servitude, which requires a lot of humility. And Sakyaras is friendship, but friendship comes in many forms. Vatsalya ras, which is parental affection, and Madhurya ras, which is very intense sweetness of loving the Lord in a variety of ways. And this Madhurya ras we have tried to cultivate. We're not sure how much it's taken hold of yet. We're not quite there, even though we're here. There's a saying they say is he's here but he's not all there. So, Nevertheless, the enjoying mentality is what gets in the way of enjoying a lot of the time. We have to experience these lower rasas, because sometimes they're put in a hierarchy, like an ascending hierarchy. But really, there's a balancing. They overlap and intermingle, and they develop not linearly, but in different ways, slowly working their way up and into some lofty heights of exquisite consciousness. Because the brain is in the mind, really. It's said like this: the mind is not in the brain. It's not in here. It's all around us, and we're in it. And there's no difference between the Lord and the body of the Lord and the soul of the Lord are the same. They're one. So we're immersed in this. The Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he used the word for that was what was it? Panem. I can't remember that. It's very difficult to attain the mercy of great grandfather gurus. So we try to have this patience like a mountain, tolerate what comes to us, and sincerely beg the mercy of Vaishnavas, Shaivites, whoever we meet. We cultivate carefully, stepping with graceful steps into whatever bhava or experiencing whatever ras comes to us with gratitude, stepping into these bhavas as per our inclination. We hope one day to attain the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani, Sri Krishna, in Vrindavan. This is a point that has been made before, and we're simply humbly repeating the words of our Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Mahanidhi Madan Gopal Das Babaji. And in that I've lost my train of thought. The point is to have relationships which are based on love, and not love which is based on relationship. When love is based on relationship, the relationship is always changing, because relationship never stays the same. But love is transcendental, for want of a newer word. It's a word that's been used many times over and over. Transcendental, as Srila Prabhupada would have said, transcendental. That we find ourselves hankering for a drop of mercy of Srimati Radharani. Kada karishyasi hamam kripa katak subhajanam. When will I receive a glance from Srimati Radharani, a merciful amount of pushti, of grace and mercy, to facilitate the service of Sri Krishna in Vrindavan. That was the point I was making earlier, that there are many places and you can go in this Jagat, Jagat Tattvam. So we need to decide where we want to be. Kaha Malenge, where shall we meet? The debate is there, and it depends on a person's um, bhava and the will of Krishna, because everything happens as per the sweet will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even though it's connected with a how we desire, because uh, it's a sambandha. This is sambandha gyan, it's knowledge of the relationship there. So there are two types of raganuga bhakti: sambandha raganug and kamarup raganuga bhakti. The sambandha is one of them is based on relationship. I'm repeating myself again. Is the same point about love based on relationship or relationship based on love. So there's a debate sometimes about whether or not Krishna in Dwaraka is our desired, cherished destination, or whether Krishna in Vrindavan is. And the Aishvarya of Krishna is manifested especially in the Chaitanya Lila, and also in Dwaraka, very much full of opulence. But in Vrindavan is characterized by sweetness. It's opulent and it has extreme opulence, but it's a different kind of opulence. It's a very natural opulence, like we have heard before, how in the forest of Vrindavan, when Krishna is enjoying with the Sakis and Manjaris, and Srimati Radharani, that they make flower ornaments for him. Mother Yashoda will give him some golden decorative ornaments like necklaces, bracelets, earrings, crown, or a turban with gold lace. But there's one pastime when he was in the forest alone, and some robbers, some thieves came and tried to steal Krishna's golden ornaments, and he said, yes, yeah, you take, and so he came to the Sakis and Manjaris and Radha with less, much less, more in a more natural form, just his body, which is with his Ganasham complexion, his yellow dhoti, and the orange or saffron kamaband that goes around the waist. And so the Sakis and Manjaris, they made flower ornaments for Krishna instead. They made him flower earrings. We had some experience of this when I was young, when I remember being in school and sitting on the school playing field. And we used to make daisy chains. So it's a natural thing that young people do sometimes, is to be in a natural environment away from technology. Nowadays, everyone's on their iPhones and smartphones, and they're a bit digitized. But it's a very sattvic quality to cultivate. Ultimately, we have to be in a natural environment: woodlands, rivers, forests, jungle, and by cultivating sattva guna, we may experience some pleasure, but ultimately we have to rise to the Shuddha Sattva platform, going steadily further up and higher in to Sadashiva, into the relishing of Chit Shakti. It's said that there's Radha and there's Krishna, who are Satchit Ananda Vigraha, and Krishna is Sat, he's eternal. Radha is Ladini Shakti, which is constituted of intense Sandrananda, thick treacle-like bliss. And then the Chit Shakti is like the wave of Sambandha relationship, which connects the divine couple, and we worship this. And this doesn't make us impersonalists, but it facilitates personal relationship in an impersonal world. Ultimately, everything is Jada Prakriti in the material world. If you have a spiritual vision, it's all elevated to the superior energy of the Lord. But by being humble and kind, compassionate to ourselves as well as to others, we'll steadily realize the beauty and sweetness of Radha Govinda Yugal Leela, and we'll be able to enter that Leela by meditating on the Leela, whether we live in Vrindavan physically or whether we live in Vrindavan mentally. We will receive the grace of Sri Guru, and steadily, by attaining the Nishta platform after the clearing stage of Anatta Nivriti, be fully satisfied, as Srila Prabhupada said. So we thank you very much. We humbly request your mercy in our endeavors, and Hare Krishna.